In 1951, Gibson won her first international title, the Caribbean Championships in Jamaica, and later that year became one of the first black competitors at Wimbledon, where she was defeated in the third round by Beverly Baker. In 1952, she was ranked 7th nationally by the USTA. In the spring of 1953, she graduated from Florida A&M and took a job teaching physical education at Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri. During her 2 years at Lincoln, she became romantically involved with an Army officer whom she never named publicly, and considering enlisting in the Women's Army Corps, but decided against it when the State Department sent her on a goodwill tour of Asia in 1955 to play exhibition matches with Ham Richardson, Bob Perry, and Cara Figueres. Many Asians in the countries they visited. Burma, Ceylon, India, Pakistan, and Thailand, felt an affinity to Althea as a woman of color and were delighted to see her as part of an official U.S. delegation. With the United States grappling over the question of race, they turned to Althea for answers, or at least to get a first-hand perspective. Gibson, for her part, strengthened her confidence immeasurably during the 6-week tour. When it was over, she remained abroad, winning 16 of 18 tournaments in Europe and Asia against many of the world's best players. Man, she was getting her done, y'all. Wow, Althea, you did that. In 1956, Gibson became the first African-American athlete to win a Grand Slam tournament, the French Championship singles event. She also won the doubles title, partnered with Britain Angela Buxton. Later in the season, she won the Wimbledon doubles championship again with Buxton, the Italian championships in Rome, the Indian championships in New Delhi, and the Asian championship in Ceylon. Wow. Man, she was busy. The arms and the hands and the legs and the feet. She also reached the quarterfinals in singles at Wimbledon and the finals at the U.S. Nationals, losing both to Shirley Fry. But she made it. She made it. The 1957 season was, in her own words, Althea's Gibson year. All right, claim that. In July, Gibson was seeded first at Wimbledon, considered at the time the World Championship of Tennis, and defeated Darlene Hard in the finals for the singles title. She was the first black champion in the tournament's 80-year history. Wow. And the first champion to receive a trophy personally from Queen Elizabeth II. Look at that. Shaking hands with the Queen of England, she said, quote, was a long way from being forced to sit in the colored section of the bus. Wow, look at God. She won the doubles championship as well for the second year. Upon her return home, Gibson became only the second black American after Jesse Owens to be honored with a ticker tape parade in New York City, and Mayor Robert F. Wagner Jr. presented her with a bronze medallion, the city's highest civilian award. A month later, she defeated Bro in straight sets to win her first U.S. national championship. Winning Wimbledon was wonderful, she wrote, and it meant a lot to me. But there's nothing quite like winning the championship of your own country. And all she reached the finals of 8 Grand Slam events in 1957, winning the Wimbledon and the U.S. national single titles, the Wimbledon and Australian doubles championships, and the U.S. mixed doubles crown, and finishing second in Australian singles, U.S. doubles, and Wimbledon mixed doubles. At season's end, she broke yet another barrier as the first black player on the U.S. Whiteman Cup team, which defeated Great Britain 6-1. In 1958, Gibson successfully defended her Wimbledon and U.S. national singles titles and won her third straight Wimbledon doubles championship with a third different partner. She was the #1 ranked woman in the world. Wow. And in the United States. In both 1957 and 1958, and was named Female Athlete of the Year by the Associated Press in both years, garnering over 80% of the votes in 1958. She also became the first black woman to appear on the covers of Sports Illustrated and Time. Oh, she was doing it. Man. In the late 1958, having won 56 nationals and international singles and double titles, Gibson retired from amateur tennis. Prior to the Open era, there was no prize money at major tournaments. The direct endorsement deals were prohibited. Players were limited to meager expense allowances strictly regulated by the USTA. The truth, to put it bluntly, is that my finances were in heartbreaking shape, she wrote. Being the queen of tennis is all as well and good, but you can't eat a crown. Nor can you send the Internal Revenue Services a thrown clip to their tax forms. The landlord and the grocer and the tax collector are funny that way. They like cold cash. I reign over an empty bank account, and I'm not going to fill it by playing amateur tennis. Okay? Alright. Professional tours for women were still 15 years away. So her opportunities were largely limited to promotional events. In 1959, she signed to play a series of exhibition matches against Figueroas before a Harlem Globetrotter basketball game. Oh, y'all remember the Harlem Globetrotters? Oh. So she signed to play a series of exhibitions matches against Figueroas before a Harlem Globetrotter basketball games. Okay. When the tour ended, she won the singles and double titles at the Pepsi Cola World Pro Tennis Championships in Cleveland, but received only $500 in prize money. Man, $500 is still a lot of money to me. What? During this period, Gibson also pursued her long-held aspirations in the entertainment industry. A talented vocalist and saxophonist. I know I'm not pronouncing that right. Saxophonist. And runner-up in the Apollo Theater's amateur talent contest in 1943. Man, she had a lot of talents, y'all. Wow. Golf, tennis, singing, saxophone. She made her professional singing debut at W.C. Handy's 84th birthday tribute at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in 1957. An executive from Dot Records was impressed with her performance and signed her to record an album of popular standards. Althea Gibson Sings was released in 1959. Wow. And Gibson performed 2 of his songs on the Ed Sullivan Show in May and July of that year, but sales were disappointing. She appeared as a celebrity guest on the TV panel show What's My Line, and was cast as a slave woman in the John Ford motion picture The Horse Soldiers in 1959, which was notable for her refusal to speak in the stereotypic Negro dialect mandated by the script. She also worked as a sports commentator, appeared in print and television and for advertisements for various products, and increased her involvement in social issues and community activities. In 1960, her first memoir, I Always Wanted to Be Somebody, written by sports writer Ed Fitzgerald, was published. Wow. You go out there. Her professional tennis career, however, was going nowhere. When I looked around me, I saw that white tennis players, some of whom I had thrashed on the court, were picking up offers and invitations. She wrote, "Suddenly it dawned on me that my triumphs had not destroyed the racial barriers once and for all, as I had perhaps naively hoped. Or if I did destroy them, they had been erected behind me again." Wow, she was deep. She also noted that she repeatedly applied for membership in the All England Club based on her status as a Wimbledon champion, but was never accepted. Her doubles partner, Angela Buxton, who was Jewish, was also repeatedly denied membership. Snap! In 1964, at the age of 37, Gibson became the first African American woman to join the Ladies Professional Golf Association, the LPGA Tour. Racial discrimination continued to be a problem. Many hotels still excluded people of color, and country club officials throughout the South, and some in the North, like the North and all that, routinely refused to allow her to compete. When she did compete, she was often forced to dress for tournaments in her car because she was banned from the clubhouse. Wow and whoa. Although she was one of the LPGA's top 50 money winners for 5 years and won a car at a dinosaur tournament, her lifetime golf earnings never exceeded $25,000. She made financial ends meet with various sponsorships deals and the support of her husband, William Darbin, brother of best friend and fellow tennis player Rosemary Darbin, whom she married in 1965 and divorced in 1976. While she broke course records doing individual rounds in several tournaments, Gibson's highest ranking was 27th in 1966, and her best tournament finish was a tie for second, a three-way playoff at the 1970 Lynn and Meek Buick Open. She retired from professional golf at the end of the 1978 season. Althea might have been a real player of consequence had she started when she was young, said Judy Rankin. She came along during a difficult time in golf, gained the support of a lot of people, and quietly made a difference. That's what's up. In 1976, my battery gonna die, Gibson made it to the finals of the ABC television program Superstars, finishing first in basketball shooting and bowling, and runner-up in softball throwing. And she was good. She was young, gifted and black, gifted and black. What? With the event of the Open era, she began entering major tennis tournaments again. But by then, in her 40s, she was unable to compete effectively against younger players. She also attempted a golf comeback in 1987 at age 60 with the goal of becoming the oldest active tour player, but was unable to regain her tour card. Ain't that something? In a second memoir, So Much to Live For, she articulated her disappointments, included unfulfilled aspirations, the paucity of endorsements and other professional opportunities, and the many obstacles of all sorts that were thrown in her path over the years. Man, they was putting all kind of stumbling blocks in her way. In 1972, she began running Pepsi Cola's National Mobile Tennis Project, which brought portable nets and other equipment to underprivileged areas in major cities. She ran multiple other clinics and tennis outreach programs over the next 3 decades and coached numerous rising competitors, including Leslie Allen and Zena Garrison. She pushed me as if I were a pro, not a junior, wrote Garrison in her 2001 memoir. I owe the opportunity I received to her. In the early 1970s, Gibson began directing women's sport and recreation for the Essex County Parks Commission in New Jersey. In 1976, she was appointed New Jersey Athletic Commissioner, the first woman in the country to hold such a role. She's still being the first, and that's what's no matter how hard they tried to make it for her, for this, that, and the other, she broke a lot of barriers. Being the first, that's the beginning of the rest to come. Yeah. Well, I'm at, y'all. Okay. She was the first woman in the country to hold such a role, but resigned after 1 year due to the lack of autonomy, budgetary oversight, and inadequate funding. Quote, "I don't wish to be a figurehead," she said. In 1977, she challenged incumbent Essex County State Senator Frank J. Dodd in a Democratic primary for his seat. She came in second behind Dodd, but ahead of Assemblyman Eldred Hawkins, still doing stuff. Gibson went on to manage the Department of Recreation in East Orange, New Jersey. She also served on the State Athletic Control Board and became supervisor of the Governor's Council on Physical Fitness and Sports. In 1983, she married Sidney Llewellyn, her coach during her peak tennis years. That marriage also ended in divorce. After 5 years, she had no children. In the late 1980s, Gibson suffered 2 cerebral hemorrhages, and in 1992, a stroke. Ongoing medical expenses depleted her financial resources, leaving her unable to afford her rent or medication. So sad. Though she reached out to multiple tennis organizations requesting help, none responded, of course. Former doubles partner Angela Buxton made Gibson's plight known to the tennis community and raised nearly $1 million in donations from around the world. All right, Angela, you came through. That's who she used to do her doubles with. That was her doubles partner. In early 2003, Gibson survived a heart attack, but died on September 28, 2003, at the age of 76 from complication following respiratory and bladder infection. Her body was interred in the Rosedale Cemetery in Orange near her first husband, Will Darby. Gibson completes a backhand ground stroke in bronze in Newark, New Jersey, near the courts and background on which she ran clinics for young players in her later years. It would be 15 years before another non-white woman, Yvonne Goolagong, in 1971, won a Grand Slam championship. And 43 years before another African American woman, Serena Williams, won her first of 6 U.S. Opens in 1999. Not long after faxing a letter and list of questions to Gibson. Serena's sister Venus then won back-to-back titles at Wimbledon and the U.S. Open in 2000 and 2001, repeating Gibson's accomplishments of 1957 and 1958. And she paved the way. She did that, man. She did that. A decade after Gibson's last triumph at the U.S. Nationals, Arthur Ashe became the first African-American man to win a Grand Slam singles title. At the 1968 U.S. Open, Billie Jean King said, quote, "If it hadn't been for Althea, it wouldn't have been so easy for Arthur or the others who followed." That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. But I want to read the rest of this, because it's a lot. And my throat getting tired, and I'm ready to eat my food. And my battery died. I'll be back. Okay, peeps, I'm back. I'm finished reading this. I'm probably going to end up making this a part 2. That's what's going to happen. So, let's finish getting her done. I changed my battery. Okay, here we go. Althea Gibson and Wilma Rudolph are, without question, the most significant athletic forces among black women in sports history. While Rudolph's accomplishments brought more visibility to women as athletes, Althea's accomplishments were more revolutionary because of the psychosocial impact on black America. Even to those blacks who hadn't the slightest idea of where or what Wimbledon was, her victory, like Jackie Robinson in baseball and Jack Johnson's in boxing, proved again that blacks, when given an opportunity, could compete at any level in American society. Wow, wow, wow. On opening night of the 2007 U.S. Open, the 50th anniversary of her first victory and its predecessor, the U.S. National Championships, Gibson was inducted into the U.S. Open Court of Champions. Quote, it was the quiet dignity with which Althea carried herself during the turbulent days of the 1950s that was truly remarkable, said USTA President Alan Swartz at the ceremony. Her legacy lives on not only in the stadiums of professional tournaments, but also in schools and parks throughout the nation. Every time a black child or a Hispanic child or an Islamic child picks up a tennis racket for the first time, Althea touches another life. When she began playing, less than 5% of tennis newcomers were minorities. Today, some 30% are minorities, 2/3 of whom are African American. This is her legacy. Gibson 1956 Wimbledon doubles trophy, her first of 3, and the first Wimbledon trophy won by an African American. Gibson 5 Wimbledon trophies are displayed at the Smithsonian Institution, National Museum of American History. The Althea Gibson Cup Seniors Tournament is held annually in Croatia under the auspices of the International Tennis Federation, which is known as the ITF. The Althea Gibson Foundation identifies and supports gifted golfers and tennis players who live in urban environments. In 2005, Gibson's friend Bill Cosby endowed the Althea Gibson Scholarship at her alma mater in Florida, A&M University. In 2009, Wilmington, North Carolina named its new community tennis court facility the Althea Gibson Tennis Complex at Impey Park. Other tennis facilities named in her honor include those at Manning High School near her birthplace in Silver, South Carolina, the Founding Circle Tennis Center in Charleston, South Carolina, Florida A&M University, and Branch Brook Park in Newark, New Jersey. In 2012, a bronze statue created by sculptor Thomas J. Warren was dedicated to her memory in Branch Brook Park. In August 2013, the United States Postal Service issued a postage stamp honoring Gibson. The 36th in its Black Heritage series. A documentary titled Althea, produced for the American Master series on PBS, premiered in September 2015. Oh, I want to see that. I want to see that. Althea. In November 2017, the Council of Paris inaugurated the Jeunesse Althea Gibson, a public multi-sport gymnasium in the 12th arrondissement of Paris. Whoa! It is located on a street named after Gertie Archimede, the first black female lawyer to pass the Guadalupe bar. This is just messed up. Wow, I might have to do one on her. Let me note that. Let me note that. Gertie Archimede. Archimede. The first black female lawyer to pass the Guadalupe bar. In 1939, and the second black woman elected to the French National Assembly in 1946. Wow. Wow. And black people was doing it back then. You didn't learn about this type of stuff in school. Why not? Why? What? In 2018, the USTA unanimously voted to erect a statue honoring Gibson at the Flushing Meadows site of the U.S. Open. The statue, created by sculptor Eric Gowder and unveiled in 2019, is only the second Flushing Meadows monument erected in honor of a champion. Althea reoriented the world and changed our perceptions of what is possible, said Golder. We are still struggling, but she broke the ground. Quote, I hope that I have accomplished just one thing. Well, why am I getting emotional, man? Wow. I hope I accomplished just one thing, she said in her 1958 retirement speech. That I have been a credit to tennis and to my country. By all measures, reads the inscription on her Newark statue. Althea Gibson certainly attained that goal. Wow. Man, this was deep. This was deep. Wow. I had never heard of her. But now I have. And now I know. And see, that's what God do. He keep people alive. Like, Jesus ain't dead. Jesus live. What? You did that out there. That's off to you. Tennis racket off to you. Golf off to you. You just was doing it. Dang. I'm glad to know you. So y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed that read. And yeah. So I'm gonna make this a part 2 because it's very lengthy. And I know it's probably going to be extra long if I just, y'all know I got to bring out some mini-series every now and again. Movies, mini-series, episode, short story times. Woo! Me. So, I did that. Althea and Aura did that. Aura. We ain't going to forget about Aura Washington. She was playing before Althea. Know what I'm saying? But it said that they don't like. I ain't got the energy for it. But nevertheless, Aura Bell Washington, Sharon, is keeping you alive. Yeah, we did that. They did that. So y'all, again, I hope y'all enjoyed that all this information. This was a lot, and it was kind of heavy too, but I got her done. And so on that note, this is gonna be what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put part 1 up Wednesday and part 2 up Thursday, and then my regular read up Friday. I'm getting her done this week. Ooh, you know what? But anyways, so on that note, I'll see y'all. I don't even know how I'm gonna break this up and do this, but I'll see you when I see you. And on that note, peace, love, share some, and what? Me, Aura, and Althea will holla. Bye, y'all.